The fourth wall.
Holy shit, I didn't even drop the graphic off our face. What is up, everybody? It's John Escudero. I'm here with my boys, Nick LaRocco, Mac Burns, and Caesar, whose last name I actually forgot. Yeah, what up, everybody? We're here to talk AEW Dynamite. It's our Thirsty Radio post-show rewind. And
Dynamite.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but not much. It's not like we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the entire episode. Unfortunately, is one thing that overshadowed every fucking thing else on the show, and it is the CM Punk Jack Perry All In footage.
The Brawl In.
Brawl In. Although I would call it more like scrap in or like scuffle in. Scuffle in.
Push in.
High school brawl in. Anyway. If you didn't see it, Tony Khan and AEW finally did air the CM Punk Jack Perry footage from Backstage. Basically, like we had mentioned before, you listen to both sides of the story, you come to the middle, you'll find what really happened. What we saw is pretty much a centered version of both sides of the story. Minus the,
minus the sound.
Minus the sound. I was gonna play the clip, but AEW is apparently really seriously copywriting this thing, which makes sense. They went through a lot of trouble to air it on their show. They probably want that shit to be exclusive to the network. That good old rating.
It should have been a dirt sheet exclusive. I'm just saying.
There was a lot there. I guess to recap it a bit, CM Punk, Jack Perry fucking says the real glass thing. He comes to the back. CM Punk approaches him. It looks like they have a conversation of some sort. Jack Perry, I don't know, he said, let's do this shit or something, but he was tying his hair and Punk struck first, and it was broken up very quickly, which is pretty much how it was described originally by the dirt sheets and everything like that. There was the
ready
old
to go to separate too.
Joe grabbed Jack Perry immediately. I can't remember who came behind who came behind Punk, but I think it was Ace Steel. Jerry Lynn. It might have been Jerry Lynn. You're absolutely right. Ace Steel is not allowed in this fucking company by this point. It was Jerry Lynn. So Jerry breaks it up. Chris Hero's back there, which I knew he worked there, but for some reason I was still like, oh shit, it's Chris Hero. Great emotives. It's just like, what's the
most Chris Hero thing I've ever seen. I also just really appreciate like how chill Hook was on all this, having to like set down the FTW title, give it all the necessary love and care that it needed before getting his hands dirty, which he didn't even do. He just kind of stood there, and then Taz walks up.
There was a couple things that we had heard about, rumored, that did get confirmed. Finally, we did get the old CM Punk lunging at Tony Khan confirmation. The old, what was it? How it was described? The TV monitors fell all over Khan. I think a lot of people were like, "Is that all? That's what made Tony Khan scared for his life?" And I mean, it had even been like Samoa Joe had even kind of implied, like, different people grew up in different environments and they react differently to different things. I'm from the South Bronx. That wouldn't have gotten me to be scared of my life. If I was a pampered billionaire who never got into a fight in his life and probably was protected by butlers and shit, I bet that the very angry fucking professional wrestler screaming at you. What did CM Punk say? You called him a clown? You're a clown. You're a joke. I don't want to work here anymore. Yeah,
Plot twist is really just because Tony Khan's afraid of clowns.
A little scary. He was like, fucking clown. No, so
scary Chicago man will always scare any billionaire no matter what.
That's partly why I
can say that as a Chicago man.
I believe him when he says he's scared for his life. Would I have said that? No. As a person, I never would have admitted that. I would have admitted that shit. I have a reputation to keep. No, but
we are muscle men here.
But I seen a lot of sentiment that maybe Tony Khan was exaggerating. He was lying. I feel like he felt that way. Would I have felt that way? No. I would have handled it very differently. I think he felt that way.
I think Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp brought up some real good points on Twitter where they were even saying like Tony Khan's like 5'5", 5'6". You know, he's a small guy, he's scrawny, and at the end of the day, he's not a wrestler. You know, he's not trying to get into fights and brawls like this
or built at all. One thing about Vince is that he was massive, fucking jacked,
huge. That Echo Pro.
I don't think most wrestlers from today aren't even his size, so they would have thought twice before even making this little move towards Vince.
I'm sick, so this will kill my throat, but the genetic jackhammer.
Even Brock just tossed the fucking belt over to the side. Tyler says, "What would TK have done against Doink?" Nothing. He would have fucking fell into a corner, coward, and cried, and we've never seen him for wrestling again. He'd have got the fuck out of there. But no, that's pretty much the recap. It gets broken up. Punk lunges at Tony Khan, gets pulled away. Chris Hero chases after him like Jesus fucking Christ. What just happened? The footage cuts off. The Young Bucks tie it into their story with FTR. FTR comes out and they actually cut a promo against the whole concept, the whole thing, the whole idea that we can't move past this, which is why when some people have been asking the question, like, what did this accomplish? I'm like, I thought they pretty much clearly established what it accomplished there.
They just told you.
They fucking came out and they said, hey, this is why we lost against FTR. Immediately part of the storyline. I said, oh, shit. I forgot they had that fucking match on that show. Forgot the Young Bucks versus FTR 2 was at All In. That's genuinely. Right. So I didn't
after that either.
I actually didn't have an I didn't really have an issue with them using it that way. I think the problem is addressing why do you get comments like this? Like it's just child bullshit that doesn't need to be aired. I think you get that sentiment because they waited so fucking long. They waited until CM Punk said something and then reacted to it. Now you look bothered. You look like it bothered you. You look rattled. It's not a good look overall. So I understand where that's coming from, but do I agree with that? Do I agree with the idea that it doesn't need to be aired? Sir, if I was Tony Khan, literally the fucking Dynamite after All In, I would have sat out there. I would have pulled a whole fucking set. We would have had a whole stage, one of those TV show Roddy Piper fucking coconut pit joints. Piper's Pit.
On the Contron.
Piper's Pit Contron, and I would have went out there with a fucking makeup black eye, and I would have been like, hey, CM Punk screwed CM Punk. And we're going to play the fucking video now. We're going to show you how it happened. I would have done it on day fucking one. You would never have gotten to the point where CM Punk comes out and he can tell his tame version of the story in front of millions. Right? We would never have gotten here. It would have been the bad guy from the get. I would have put that shit right out there.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the issues too. CM Punk technically shot first, you know, not just literally, but also figuratively with that interview.
I understand. Listen, I understand what everybody's saying. I want to address that first because I got some real shit to say. As a fan, I have something to say, but objectively, I genuinely get why people say things like, they shouldn't do this. This is just wasting time. It took attention away from other things that were happening on the show today. People only want to talk about this. We fucking had to stick this at the beginning of the show because nobody wants to hear us talk about fucking Samoa Joe and Dustin Rhodes.
Samoa defending the world title against a member of the Rhodes family?
And that's a cute fucking thing. I was more bothered by that shit. I was more bothered by them doing Samoa Joe versus Dustin Rhodes with the idea that it's a Rhodes going after a world champion named Joe. I hated that shit compared to this fucking All In thing. This was hilarious. I thought this was fucking hilarious. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt Punk. It doesn't hurt AEW. It doesn't hurt fucking anybody. It's a silly fucking thing. It's silly as fuck. This fucking footage was silly as fuck. It wasn't even a fight. It was a skerfuffle. It wasn't shit.
It was an excuse to have, Malachi Black just walk up holding his coffee like, hey guys, what's up? But I would want to say too that like with this whole situation, I've had a lot of my non-wrestling friends checking this stuff out, and it's just like, oh wow, like this tea is hot, this tea is fire, and it's just like absolutely, like as someone, like I said on my little name tag right here, give me every backstage fight footage ever. Like this is what I would love to pay to see. I want
give me the Brett and Sean in the bathroom.
Oh,
that shit.
Give me even Big Show and Great Khali just tripping over all the bags to get to one another. That's the type of stuff I want to see. Give me Benoit yelling at the Miz for dropping chicken on the bag.
Where that Booker T Batista fight at?
Oh yes. Like give me all the footage from that like mansion when Booker T and Batista started challenging one another. Like this would be great. Like imagine if WWE just started airing out all of those different like backstage clips. I'd watch.
I'll buy that Blu-ray. I'll buy that
absolutely.
Shit. And they got enough of these fucking backstage incidents to put on a Blu-ray.
I guarantee they got footage of it.
Listen,
a lot
man,
of those at least.
The general, the. Do I have a problem with them airing this at all? No, I just think they waited too long, and I think that because they waited too long, it gives off a certain perception, and it took away attention from what's going on. Do I think it's the finger poke of doom? No, goddamn. David Talbert says people are saying showing the video is a finger poke of doom for AEW. Thought. That's a fucking finger poke of doom. Do you know why the finger poke of doom was the finger poke of doom? They advertised a highly fucking anticipated wrestling match, and people were genuinely interested and hooked, and they wanted to see what the fuck was going to happen.
The leaders of the two NWO factions going at it for the world title.
The finger poke of doom was Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes ending in a fucking finger poke of doom. That's the kind of finger poke of doom shit. That's the kind of shit that affects your fucking company when you sell people on this thing. They said they were going to air the footage. They aired the fucking footage. It was a mix of what we thought it was going to be, which was the Young Bucks trolling, but with actual real life shit that happened. They tied in a bunch of real shit into a story with FTR. You motherfuckers were asking for that for years. Let's do the Young Bucks versus FTR and CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. They have all this shit. CM Punk is not available and Kenny Omega is not available. We still have the Young Bucks and FTR. They tied this shit right into it. And again, wow, what is it? What does it do? How does this work? This backfired. This backfired. Backfired? Did it backfire? Backfire on what? Where to fucking go? Like, I guess the idea is that there was that the reaction online is people saying, CM Punk was right. I guess, but the Young Bucks are the bad guys in this storyline, and like I don't understand this idea that it backfired, that this video backfired on AEW. First of all, it hasn't even been a day. We don't know what kind of effects it's going to have on the fucking company. All we can do is predict, right. And as of now, the only effect is a bunch of people who didn't like the company already had their fucking ideas of CM Punk Young Bucks situation. This video isn't going to change nobody's mind about nothing.
Everyone already knows how CM Punk is. It just further reiterated everything we already knew about him.
It's funny. If I've seen the idea that this is WCW 2000.
I just noticed that is trending right now.
I can see that. I can see where you get that. Just the idea that they reference some internet shit. Of course, the problem with WCW 2000 was that it didn't have a means towards an end. They were just, that was the way the show worked. Tony Schiavone was on commentary talking about swerves and things that don't matter. And like, that's what WCW 2000 was. It wasn't a reference to the internet or a couple in a promo. It was the product was fucking weird and out of context smart mark shit 24 years before people on the internet actually dominated the fucking conversations.
Oh yeah. Like as someone that grew up in that late WCW era, this is nowhere near that. I mean, Woke Dude Bro on Twitter. Let me give this guy a shout out. That Punk video was a waste of time, but if you're comparing AEW to WCW 2000, you've never watched anything but WWE, let alone TNA or late era WCW.
I'm saying that's the biggest thing here. A lot of the conversation is driven by, young people don't actually know anything beyond the documentaries that they've watched. Of course, they're gonna have those ideas. But I mean, but is there something to the idea that they just shouldn't have poked this wasp of fucking CM Punk fans and WWE fans, because they're not, like, it isn't going to change their mind. It isn't going to make them look at Punk anyway. Literally, CM Punk could have come into this footage and pulled out a gun and fucking crack and coke and stuck a fucking heroin needle in his arm, and everyone would have found a way to be like, yeah, but he's based, but that was cool. He's fucking awesome. It was never going to change nobody's mind. So this idea that it backfired somehow, really, I think it's laughable. I think in 2 weeks they're going to do the Young Bucks FTR match at the pay-per-view. Everybody's going to talk about the match, and I mean, they'll probably still talk about this video. I don't know that. I think people will bring this video up all the time as a gotcha. But is it actually going to affect the company in a week or two? No, it's going to gives a fuck. In a week, just like Matthew said down here, make sure you catch him on Tuesdays and Fridays. In about a week or two, everybody's going to forget as soon as they got their opinion off their chest. It really isn't a big deal. So that's who
was looking the most forward to this promo, though? Drew McIntyre. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about it.
I know. He's great. He's actually great. But it's in this weird way where I'm like, I want to cheer him against Punk, but I'm like, I'm gonna get too involved. I'm gonna start taking his shit at face value. Like, no, I feel that way for real, but he's playing a character. All right, so that's my objective. That's about as objective as I'm gonna get on this shit, because I got some real shit to say.
No.
Nick, Mac, Caesar, before I really talk about how I feel about this as a fan, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this whole thing. Just the whole thing, because I'm gonna take a lot of time, I think.
Oh, I just realized we got Mac and Caesar muted still.
Oh, they aren't muted. They know how to use buttons. Look.
We're all mute. We were both muted.
Yeah. I was like,
wrestling hipster definitely makes a good point, though, before we move on. It is like a political debate. There's no such thing as an undecided voter. Fans have their minds made up, and this will change virtually no one's opinion on CM Punk or TK. And that's it. That is what it is. I'm telling you. Mac, go ahead and let us know.
So, I mean, I spoke about this on the WrestleMania Night 2 recap. Like, I don't think anything that Punk does is going to affect the way that I feel about him as a professional wrestler, but as a human being outside of kayfabe, this seems kind of like a fucking asshole. You know, he seems like a bipolar. You know, I don't want to say any other like mental disabilities to offend anybody, but he seems very bipolar. He seems very quick to react. I'm sure Jack said something that pissed him off, but we all got to remember that it doesn't take a lot to piss Punk off to have him react like that, you know? And he said on the Hawani podcast, and I was getting a lot of shit on this on my Instagram, that he didn't hit anybody. Technically, he didn't punch anybody, but he put his hands on Jack first. Jack had his hands in his hair like he was about to like square up with him, and Punk took a cheap shot and pushed him, and it looked like he either pie-faced him or pushed him again. And that's when Joe came over and broke it up when he tried to put him in a guillotine. And you were talking about who came to grab Punk. Nobody came to grab Punk for like a good 10 seconds. And then Jerry Lynn and Chris Hero came over and both escorted him away. And he was looking like he was going back for more. Like Jack was completely restrained by Joe. Joe had him like around the neck, where you could see when Joe came out at All In, he had a couple of specks of blood on his wrap on his arm, and that's the same position that he had Jack in like this. So I don't know if Punk maybe had cut him with a nail or something happened, but
he was bleeding during the street fight.
No. This was when Joe came out with the belt and was holding it up right before Punk came out.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, because Jack Perry and Hook had that street fight beforehand.
Oh, okay. So he was bleeding. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, overall, I don't want to take up too much time, but overall, it's going to be forgotten about. it's a thing where the internet's going to blow it up for like 36, 48 hours, and then you're going to see tweets starting to go back to normal. And like you said, John, this isn't going to change, or I don't remember if it was Nick or John, but it isn't going to change anybody's perception of Punk or TK. You're going to have the TK defenders, you're going to have the Punk defenders, and I don't think you're going to see anybody switching sides here. After, like I said, after 48 hours, people are going to be like, all right, I got shit to do. I don't give a fuck about this 45-year-old guy anymore.
Caesar.
Honestly, everyone's already said all this stuff in regards to this topic. And there's going to be two sides to this whole story, no matter how you look at it. You're a TK guy, you're a Punk guy, or however you want to say it. And of course, you can say, I'm a Punk guy, and you're going to piss off this crowd. And if you're not a Punk guy, you're going to piss off that crowd. So it's just like, you guys have all said it. This shit's going to go one way, and then maybe at most a week, and then it'll dip off the earth. So it's just, like I said, I'm just going to watch and see how everything goes. Simple as that.
Okay. Now it's my turn.
Oh boy, here we go.
I want to address a couple things.
Incoming.
There's just this,
hold on, let me turn my volume down.
A couple of things from there's a couple of I was laughing with our boy DJ Danny Ocean in the group chat about how CM Punk it's pretty much, it's a lot of what we were doing already and what we were just talking about. Fucking, if you're on one side, you're on one side. If you're on the other side, you're on the other side. I think it's a bunch of fucking fun. I think it's a bunch of fun. I have a lot of fun with this shit, honestly, fully. I think CM Punk is a little bitch. I just want to start. That's what I mean. Like, it's not even about this, bro. It's the way he's fucking built. Like, this dude is a fucking bitch. The guy he built his whole fucking life. And you know what? Part of this, I've said this shit before you ever fucking came back to AEW. Part of it is because me too. I admit, as a fan of Punk back in the day, man, I got really caught up in that voice of the voiceless shit. I did. I took the gimmick as if it was real life, and I forgot that wrestling isn't real for a second. And he had built his whole fucking persona. Everything about CM Punk was this anti-establishment, anti-corporation, anti-capitalism, pro wrestling, pro the passion. And he fucking comes back. He comes to AEW. And it's like a culture shock. The guy gets smacked in the face with every fucking thing he ever asked for. Every fucking thing he ever championed. And it pushed him right back into this old boomer ass fucking boots. Like, oh shit, every old person that ever talked down to me in my career was actually right. Like, no, as it turns out, you just got older and you fucking forgot what it's like to be a passionate young man with an idea that might have gone too far. And it doesn't, and CM Punk, for whatever fucking reason, is not able to speak with these people like a normal person. You saw how he fucking approached Jack Perry in the video? Man, it's funny as fuck. It's real funny. Like, Jack Perry couldn't do shit. Jack Perry went out there. What did he say? Real glass, cry me a river. What the fuck does that compare to the thing CM Punk has gone out and the cheeky references CM Punk has gone out and made, and the fucking on this show? Forget the years of his career. You're talking about even in his second AEW run, even in the run that ended here, was he not fucking making references to the counterfeit bucks and softer than your favorite wrestlers and all that good shit? So what you're telling me is all the people out there who are like, Jack Perry provoked it. So what you're telling me is that when the Young Bucks walked up in CM Punk's room and Kenny Omega walked up in CM Punk's room, so Punk provoked that shit. No, but you got to take it back further. Hangman provoked that. So what the fuck provoked Hangman? This whole shit is fucking, you're never going to find nobody like that. I'm going to point to this situation. I'm going to look at this situation right here. CM Punk is a fucking bitch. He saw that shit, that Jack Perry shit. He walked up to this, who he said it himself, I can fuck this guy up. I can beat this guy up. That was his thought process. So he saw this guy who was supposedly, weaker, younger than him, and he acted like the fucking bully, hypocrite asshole that he is. Oh, what? You got a problem with me? You know who he wasn't fucking talking to like that? I bet you if Wardlow had gone out there and fucking he fucking said, real glass, bitch. Cry me a river. Punk would have really been as polite as he said he was in that fucking in that Ariel Helwani video.
saying bravo, Wardlow. That was great. I would have
That
done
was
that
great
myself.
work, man. That internet stuff, you really got to work
You're
towards
so
that, man.
good at this.
Man, CM Punk is a fucking hypocrite. He's a fucking. I was gonna call him a bully, but he's not even a bully. He's a victim because he wants to be the victim. Because everywhere he fucking goes, he finds a way to make himself the victim. I am sick and tired of this fucking man, and I don't believe that his WWE career is gonna end normally or naturally. I think someone's gonna step on his fucking shoelaces, and he's gonna flip the fuck out, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, this dude needs fucking therapy." We know what everybody was talking about now. Beyond that shit, my only real problem is that nobody's ever going to this is all so obvious to me, but people love CM Punk so much. This is never going to be addressed. This man is never going to get the help that he needs because trust me, he needs some fucking help. This dude is fucking washed. His mental situation is washed. He's got trauma that he's never fucking dealt with. And you know what? I'm actually happy that he did go back to WWE because he seems to be having a cathartic moment over there. And maybe this will be enough. Maybe he won't have to see a therapist. Maybe he will be fine after all this. But all I know is that his whole AEW career, all that shit he talked in that first promo, all that shit he ever talked in WWE before he fucking left, fucking bullshit. The guy's a fucking hypocrite. He's not in the WWE. Welcome home. I love Triple H. I love capitalism. Passion is a foreign concept to me. This is not a business. This is not about making money. They only want to have good matches. Can you fucking believe he said that shit? Can you believe that came out of CM Punk's mouth? CM Punk. Come on, man. I can't
right
even.
After he did the comment too of like 8 years, I'm back in pro wrestling.
I can't even fucking put a coherent thought together because I feel passionate. I don't hate this guy. I can't hate somebody I've never met. But when I look at all this shit objectively, as a fan of all pro wrestling, I think he's a bitch. I think he's a bitch. I think he's a fucking just as bad as any of the podcast grifters that he fucking now champions their causes. It's fucking sad. It's disappointing. I'm really glad that I'm not as emotionally attached to him as I was when I was a kid because I would be fucking genuinely heartbroken to watch this version of CM Punk in the WWE smiling and being a fucking hypocrite that he is. I would be broken if I was a CM Punk fan. All you fucking CM Punk fans out there, you will get your moment. He will hurt you. And I'm not gonna laugh at you. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you, and I'll be here waiting to give you a hug when it happens. I swear to you.
Hug.
I swear to you. I've got no ill will. This guy Brandon says, "What an AEW mark." God, you know how fucking small and petty you are, Brandon? Do you know how insignificant you fucking are with an opinion like this? With this opinion? Do you know how anybody with this fucking kind of opinion? What a WWE show. What an AEW mark. You know how fucking tiny brained you are? All of you.
Tribalism.
That's the reason why shit like this happens. That's the reason why we're here. That's the reason why we're having this conversation. Because of slow IQ, bottom of the shoe fucking brain people like Brandon Donaldson. I cannot continue to look at this objectively. From now on, anytime this shit ever comes back up, this is how I'm reacting to it. I don't got no more fucking corporate, I don't want to hurt Dershi radio shit to say. If CM Punk has a fucking problem with what the fuck I had to say, I'd like to do it. If this ever comes out years later, CM Punk is a fucking interview with Dershi radio, and they say, "Oh, well, check this video out where Jonathan said all these fucking things about you," I'll fucking still mean it then. I want that shit on camera. I'll still mean it then, and I want to address it. I want to ask him about it. I want to ask him, how the fuck did you end up this skinny, sad, pathetic, old hypocrite that you are today? I want to know. I want to know how you ended up there. I don't want to get praised. That's just how I felt about it. I don't even want to talk. I'll let somebody else talk about it. Matthew says, "I applaud the heel work, John." Yeah. You know the best heels? The best fucking heels are ones that mean what they say. I mean every fucking word. I think he's a bitch. I think he's a little bitch. I don't really know how else to say because I think those words really encapsulate how I feel about it.
But here's what I want to say to that.
Do you think it's nostalgia, John? Do you think that the people that are defending Punk grew up with him in 2011, 2012, and they are going to defend him no matter what because he was their childhood hero, like Hogan?
I could see it.
Like Hogan in the 80s, and Punk can do no wrong because he got me back into professional wrestling with his character and blah, 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 blah. So he can, go on live TV and kill a puppy and I'll still love him,
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. There's always going to be that in any pro wrestling and in any fucking.
Do you think that is? What percentage?
I think it's a decent.
It's
I don't think
big percentage because you got to look at everyone that was okay following Hulk Hogan making all of his amazing fun comments, right? And then you got to look at everyone that was defending Flair after the Dark Side of the Ring episode, and then everyone defending everyone ever in the history of
defending Benoit after
exactly to this day.
Yeah,
to this day.
I think that you can use those things as a way to measure the kind of people that are into this shit, right? These are the kind of people that Not that I compare CM Punk's little bitchness to any of those horrible things. Not the fucking Hulk Hogan the racist, not Benoit the murderer. But the idea that people are still in the Punk because of nostalgia. I mean, sure, like nostalgia, like fine, like I don't think that's an issue. I think that's just the way people are built. Yeah,
I think at some point Punk's going to do something and people are not going to be able to defend him. Like Hogan had a lot of shit going on before his racist comments and stuff like that. But when he literally when they put out that phone call with him where he was talking about his daughter dating the black dude and using racial epithets and stuff like that, a lot of Hogan guys that grew up with Hogan in the 80s like, all right, well, that's the line. I'm out. Is Punk going to eventually do something like that where people are going to be like, all right, I'm out?
I don't think CM Punk is that kind of guy.
No. I'm not correlating CM Hogan's racism to Punk.
I was like, I don't know.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there going to be a tipping point with Punk where he does something. Not saying like he did with Hogan. I'm not saying that he's a racist or not making that correlation. I'm just saying, is Punk going to do like? I'm sure there's some people that saw this fight tonight and they were like, all right, I'm done with Punk. But is there going to be some definitive thing that he does in his career where people are going to be like, no, you know what? I defended this guy long enough. I'm done.
No, because like we said, you've seen people do so much worse, and it doesn't really change the way people look at them. I mean, some of the biggest wrestlers in the history of wrestling have done some shit that we all just kind of, what? No.
All right, look how many people still defend Vince.
Listen, I'm a big Stone Cold fan. And I'll leave it at that. Right? There's a lot there. I don't think CM Punk is the kind of person to cross the kind of line that would make people stop caring about CM Punk. I think look at Silvino Molina is here. He says, I was a big fan until recently when he blasted AEW only because it was unprofessional and proves Triple H was right a year ago about being the catalyst. I think I expected him to do it because of the kind of person that he is. Like, I'm that kind of person too. So when I say the kind of person that he is, I don't mean like, oh, this scum trash. I'm a fucking petty guy, just like CM Punk. It's almost why I fucking hate him right now. Like, you dusty, nasty little hypocrite motherfucker. You like, I understand where he's coming from, and he's done some things that I just wouldn't do. That's why I'm like, oh, but I don't think it's ever going to be enough that people are going to just stop caring about CM Punk. I think
you have to do something really egregious.
Yeah, he'd have to actually hurt, like punch Roxanne Perez in the face, like something like some horrible shit.
No, that perfect angel. No,
exactly.
Again, remember too, you'll still have those people defending him because again, we just talked about it. The people
she was talking about real glass.
It was like the thing though with again. It's not Chris Benoit. He couldn't do it. It was Kevin Sullivan, obviously. Not my Benoit.
Yeah.
There's also this
I agree.
I think the tribalism thing.
Tyler's right.
I don't know if I don't ever subscribe to the idea that tribalism is something that you can fight or do anything about, or you kind of just have to understand it and then manipulate it. Because other than that, like it's like WWE fans are gonna feel how they feel about AEW no matter like Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada could come out next week and have a 45-minute fucking match that's preceded by a 35-minute promo segment. That is exactly what they're asking for, and it won't change. It won't change the way they feel about it. So I think those kind of people will. There's so many more. WWE is such a massive fan base, right? Millions upon millions of motherfucking people love WWE. A lot of those fans have chosen their side. This is their team. They love this. Their grandpa loved this. Their father loved this. Their sister, their mother, their brother loves this. Their opinion is going to overwhelm any fucking other opinion. So maybe addressing this CM Punk thing is going to come off on the internet as if it backfired, so to speak, because you're going to get that fan base saying all the things they have to say. But looking at this, I see this guy David Mann dropped a little paragraph here. I can see the I can kind of skim it. All that stuff, over exaggerated shit. Look at all this. Look at the fall. It's gonna fall off the rails, and it did quite the opposite. You think this affected AEW negatively? Yeah, I actually believe that they're gonna have a pretty high rating tomorrow, and it ain't gonna fucking do shit. But I talked about that earlier. You kind of missed it.
Honestly, I'm surprised I didn't save it for later in the show.
Ultimately, just to close this, I guess to close my section off here. This shit didn't hurt anybody. It pushed the storyline forward. I'm actually more interested in what they're gonna do with the Bucks and FTR now than I was last week. Because last week I was like, "What the fuck? We could have done the Bucks versus FTR in a much bigger place. Like, how did we get here?" This makes this shit so much more interesting than I fucking thought it would be. I can't wait for Jack Perry to come in and be with the fucking Elite. I want to see where the fuck we go from here. You know what I would hate is if they came next week and we just acted like we didn't do this shit. We already made it part of the story. We're using this. We're fucking using this. Don Guthrie says AEW and WWE are working together. Yeah, yeah, that's not happening. That's never happening. I can imagine because the fucking guy Tony Khan was actually fucking. He was being fucking polite to them before they kind of take advantage of it. So that kind of shows you the kind of people they are. But
it's Moxley. He's at WrestleMania.
Angel Flores says Drew is the only winner in this. That's hilarious. It's true though. Pro Wrestling Hempstead Tyler said the Bucks are actually doing good, obnoxious character work, and people still complain. I think that's what people are missing from this whole thing here. They're literally calling it all the things they wanted it to be. Like, why did they do that? They're assholes. They're obnoxious. They're childish. Did they accomplish their mission? That's what the fuck they were trying to be. They're trying. It didn't come off like they were genuinely addressing CM Punk's words from Monday. Like, oh, if he had these things to say about them, then we're gonna show this footage. It came off like they said, "Oh shit, if he's gonna say about that, I got an idea," and this is how it went. I think
they did a great job of like connecting it with their current storyline with FTR. And it's like everyone is well aware of FTR's relationship with Punk, so it's just kind of natural to bring in there. I mean, literally, when Punk was gone, Cash came out going like this.
Fucking Malachi Black mentioned them too. Like the CM Punk FTR connection didn't go away because CM Punk left. Actually, that's not what they do here. They generally just reference anything pro wrestling. Like that's just the way it is.
Don't you guys know friendships do not transcend wrestling companies?
God, this guy. Dylan Bonner says if they lose 100, 200,000 views after they show the footage and they don't ever find them again, does this become a huge mistake? I think you're really overestimating how much 100 to 200,000 viewers actually matter in the grand scheme of their viewership, because the numbers that you're reading and the numbers that you're referencing, i.e. those Thursday morning numbers, they don't actually account for the things WBD is measuring. They account for ad money and general trends, and an approximate idea of how the show went. But when WBD releases a fucking press release like they did earlier this week, and they say AEW is 4 shows are watched by 4 million people a week, and all you motherfuckers are confused, they must be lying. No, actually, it's you that were confused the whole time. And now you've been presented this extra piece of information and you didn't absorb it. You threw it out because you didn't believe it. Well, I fucking absorbed it. So these fucking numbers, this this 800,000, this 700,000, this 1 million. It don't fucking mean shit beyond like, oh no, 100,000 people weren't able to watch live this week. I guess they'll get to it on DVR. Like,
even if you want the nice gauge for how many people are watching, look at what commercials are going to be aired every week. I mean, when you see car commercials on AEW TV, that tells me they're doing pretty good.
I don't think, but there's a lot of. It's the thing about pro wrestling. It's why having this show somehow makes me feel better because I curated a fucking group of people that actually understand what we're talking about. But if you're just trying to exist in the fan base, I'm sorry. Pro wrestling fans are not known to know things. The easiest fucking way I can put it. You're not going to be able to have
that came out from advertisers.
You're not going to be able to have that conversation with them. They're not aware of the fact that the kind of commercials that play on your show are actually an indicator of the kind of advertisers that are interested in your product. They don't care either. They just want to see, Stone Cold come out or The Rock or some shit. And that's understandable. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying when you try to have a conversation with me and you talking about oh no, like they lost 100,000 viewers last week. WWE is more popular than they've been in years. Fucking years, decades. Monday Night Raw has lost an average of 600,000 viewers since 2019. Do you see the disconnect? Do you see that? Do you see how that fucking doesn't match what your idea of ratings performance is?
Great. Consider how many people are cutting the cable nowadays, and every year that continues to increase.
It ends up sounding like an excuse to people that don't understand how it works. And when you say, Dynamite's lost an average of 200,000 people since 2019, and you go, well, I can imagine that's proportionate to the amount of people that have cut the cord in the last 5 years. That's just an excuse, man. You're just coming up with shit. You're just an AEW fan. You're trying to protect it. It's like, bro, no. Like, I can protect WWE with the same fucking stat. You know what I mean? I don't think that this is going to affect them. No, Dylan, it's not you specific. I just, unfortunately, you had the same kind of comment that I was addressing.
Dylan was caught in the crossfire.
No, I apologize, Dylan. But he says his point is that he thinks they can find a better way to gain viewers than this one, which is some level of risky for long-term viewership. And I agree. I think I even said at the beginning of the show, this overshadowed the rest of the show. Will Ospreay comes out after this promo and he cuts fucking fire promo. Bro. You know what? The only thing people took from it was the Triple H line because it came after this. So now it looks like, they spent the whole show talking about WWE. Which, again, personally, I never had a fucking issue with because I don't believe it works in the way that WWE works. WWE has a much bigger audience. If you mention AEW, then you make them interested. They might change the channel. AEW's audience, most of them fucking watch WWE. I don't believe mentioning WWE is going to make someone try to figure out what's going on over there because they already know.
Plus, you got the difference, too, in levels of investment because how many people grew up with CM Punk and WWE compared to AEW? Like, unless you're a kid who's 5 years old, you did not grow up with AEW. It's just something that kind of came along. You don't have that long-lasting lifetime investment in.
I look at my kid as an indicator of shit like that because he's like I've never seen this generation before. He's the only one I can watch, and he's a kid who started with AEW. And he followed CM Punk to WWE, and he likes WWE now. And thankfully, WWE is actually good for him to like.
Right.
So I don't think that he tuned into fucking Raw because Tony Khan mentioned CM Punk. The motherfucker just ran. He just decided to follow his favorite wrestler over to another show. And that's just the way wrestling fans think too. Even the older ones, they're kind of simple. It's not simple-minded. I'm not saying my son's simple-minded, but they kind of, if they're going to change the channel, it ain't going to be because they were offended. I tell you that. You know what I mean? This is anybody again, Dylan. Again, that's a long paragraph. He said I haven't enjoyed their product lately. That's a real shame because it's been much better than it's been for a long time. So if you don't enjoy the product now, I suggest go watch something else because I don't think there's a better version of what AEW is right now than what they have here. I actually think this was a bit of a step in the wrong direction beyond, but it's not going to affect anything, so it doesn't really matter. But it just took away from the rest of the show. That's my biggest concern with this.
I mean, one of the things, this isn't me wanting to give a cheap shout out, but Mama Luraco, shout out. I know she's watching this right now. She was such a casual viewer of pro wrestling. She'd always watch it if ever like me or anyone in my family would have it on, right? But AEW is something that came along and she went from casual viewer to all of a sudden becoming a hardcore AEW fan. And that's something I know she consistently watches time and time again. She like constantly texts me like, oh, did you hear about this that happened? Oh my gosh, like, you know, this is what's going on in AEW right now. So I think that it does appeal to like the casual audience as well in different ways. And I don't know, I think there's a lot of different elements to just what people like in a program. I mean, for her, it's a lot of, you know, what I always say every week is AEW is such a variety show because you get a little bit of everything with it. You get the athleticism, you got a little bit of sports entertainment, you get a little bit of just everything. And that's what I like about it. I know that's what she likes about it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that like
that. Pro wrestling hipsters says ratings are becoming increasingly irrelevant. So many people have just cable TV ratings will never be what they were in the late 90s. It just isn't how most people absorb entertainment nowadays. I do because I'm old. Obviously, I'm old. I use nowadays in a sentence. Listen, the rating stuff, we just had a big conversation about that. I can't really say much else. But what I can say is that it felt like FTR's promo was meant to speak for the company. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The Young Bucks, the heels, the bad guys presented this. The bad guys wanted to take the company back to a bad place. The bad guy is CM Punk. If you're not getting the fucking metaphor, it's because you're a wrestling fan. The bad guy is CM Punk. The Young Bucks are CM Punk in this metaphor. They're taking the company back to All In. The FTR coming out afterwards and saying, we don't want to be back there. Is the company responding to CM Punk? The video wasn't the response. FTR's promo was the response. You fucking idiots. That's pretty much how I feel about that. Mac, did you have something to say about this?
Cannot hear you, Mac.
Oh, Mac is talking to nobody.
Can't
it's
hear
all
me.
good. We appreciate him anyway.
That's why we love him.
Yeah.
Let me try again.
I hear
There
you.
we go.
Hold on, let me try putting these in. Give me 1 second. Ruining the show. Oh, fuck, I'm ruining the show. Can you hear me now?
Good.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yes.
John, wasn't the I don't watch the Jericho Vortex matches, but wasn't that sponsored by some sort of sponsor tonight? Did they mention DraftKings or something like that?
No, it was Woo Energy.
Woo Energy, okay.
Yeah.
But
the Ric Flair joint.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean,
They get paid for
A
that.
consistent sponsor for them, though.
Yeah, they get paid very well for that.
Warner Brothers is constantly, or WBD is constantly putting out pressers saying how much they are impressed with AEW and how good it is for their network and how it draws in viewers and revenue and it's bringing more money into the company than it has in 20, 30 years. And then you still got these guys online going, well, Rampage only got 300,000 viewers. And it's like, okay, well, they're not canceling it so there must be something going on that you don't understand because you're not in the corporate office. You're not sitting at that big fucking long ass Game of Thrones table with all these WBD executives. And you're not there when they're talking about, I mean, they gave them a fucking third show. People like AEW's dead. They're, blah, 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 blah. And then they go, oh, okay, here's Collision. And people are like, what the fuck? Rampage only gets 300,000. What are they doing?
And even then,
dude, you don't understand metrics.
300,000 on like a Friday night, basically a death slot is awesome.
Dude, what's his
on
name?
cable.
Collision got what? What did Collision get a big
Like
rating this week?
400,000 at midnight or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
listen. That there's the big, like, even if you're a fucking moron who doesn't believe in actual corporate press release about AEW, even if you're a fucking idiot, the idea that WBD is even going through the trouble, because let's follow your train of thought. They're lying. They made this number up. So somebody at Warner Brothers is going through all of the fucking trouble of lying for AEW, lying and making this number up. And not only that, and they're going to cancel it later.
Yeah.
Man, shut the fuck up, bro. Just shut the fuck up. I don't even want to hear this shit anymore. You know what? The only thing that bothers me now is the fan base, I think. It's the biggest part that bothers me because you can't do anything. Like, I can say I can put together the most beautiful, poignant conversation topic, and I can make my point articulated as best as I could. Their IQ is still 10. It doesn't matter what the fuck I say. This very obvious disconnect between your idea of WCW and what AEW is today. You know what's the biggest fucking difference? Warner Brothers actually wants the company on their network. Do you remember why WCW died? But you don't, because you watched the documentary that told you Vince did it. Vince didn't fucking do it. Time Warner did. You know who Time Warner is now? Their name is Warner Brothers Discovery. You fucking morons. They love this shit.
History is written by the winners.
Yeah,
They love this shit. Warner Brothers fucking loves AEW. You think this stupid video is going to piss the Warner Brothers off? You think they care about this shit? No.
They wouldn't have put it on the air to begin with.
their network.
I swear I'm going to spend the next hour just addressing the fucking bad faith.
John, we have
I
another
see on the
podcast to
internet.
do. I wouldn't
Exactly.
Jeez, this is just going to be that. Greg is just going to jump in this one. It's going to be the same fucking podcast.
Just copy and paste everything.
Listen, at the end of the day, if you enjoy AEW, enjoy AEW. This shit ain't gonna do this shit ain't gonna do nothing. If you bothered when I was watching WrestleMania this week, I said, wow, man, what a spectacle. That is massive. That is big. That makes you feel like, well, you know, man, I don't enjoy AEW anymore. Then motherfucker, just watch the other thing. Like, it's not even a bad thing. Like, you've discovered that that's what you want. And you should go watch that shit. That you can leave me the fuck alone with the shit that I like.
But you know, John, you know what it is too. You know what it is too. It's that when we were on the WrestleMania podcast after both nights, we were genuinely praising WWE. You know why? Because it wasn't good for so long, and we wanted it to be good, and now it's finally good, and we're like, oh my fucking god, this is what I wanted.
No, you're a shell. I'm a shell. I'm an AEW mark. Damn it. Damn it.
Dude, I want
AEW.
I want WWE to be good every week. I want AEW. I want WWE to blow the ratings off the roof. I want good matches. I want a 4-way match like that. Not every week, but I want that consistently. I don't want WWE to die. I don't want WWE to be off of fucking TV. I don't want anybody out of a job. I want WWE to exist because that's the first company I ever watched in 1987 when I saw Hulk Hogan on Saturday night's main event. I want WWE to be fucking good. And it hasn't for so long. And people take criticism of you going, yeah, I'm just not enjoying the product right now. AEW, Mark. And it's like, no, dude, I just want the product to be better.
I don't even give a fuck. I like at this point, I don't give a fuck if WWE is better or not. Like, I'm enjoying it. I enjoy it. If it's good, it's good. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna be like, man, WWE sucks this week. I hope they die. That's not my thing. But no. I had said on another podcast, if the company would just put on the blinders and forget about the bad faith criticism and just keep entertaining your core base, keep creating that core positive conversation, just move forward, keep moving forward, don't look back, you will be fine. I think this was a bump in the road, but they'll be okay.
You got a lot of people too that are just on the fallout from their 40th WrestleMania, and on top of that, this was the culmination of a 5-year, technically 10-year story when you factor in the Shield stuff. So there was a lot going on there with a lot of huge returns. And on top of that, like when people want to say that, like, oh, you know, Warner Brothers Discovery, they're just going to cancel AEW. Listen, look at what they have been ending and canceling. Now, if you want to talk about a company that was failing, that was dying, that they just ended, Rooster Teeth, that's the prime example right there.
Ooh.
They killed that immediately when they had the chance. And they were in far worse situation than AEW. So Warner Brothers is not afraid of ending whatever business isn't working out. But clearly something's going right with AEW. They keep promoting it. It's one of their favorite things. So like I say there.
Ultimately, I'm a big old fan of this fucking company, but I do love pro wrestling. So when I say I'm a fan of this company and I hear fucking dickhead douchebag like CM Punk say these driving these empty narratives after he claimed to be a champion for the things that the company stands for, so to speak, I guess. I don't know. I'm not planting a flag like that, but it's capitalism is capitalism. But the mission statement of this fucking company, when I hear this motherfucker driving a Jim Cornette narrative, an empty Jim Cornette narrative, you know, this isn't a business. That shit is this. That's the kind of shit that tickles me in the core in a nasty way. That's why I'm like, fuck this little bitch. That's all. That's it. That's my thought on CM Punk. I have nothing more to say on CM Punk. You want me to talk about those fans? I'll talk about those fucking fans. But CM Punk is he's got nothing. I got nothing but I was gonna say nothing but ill will, but that's not true. It says Juwan Wells says AEW has no storytelling but no bills, but good action could crash test dummies. Yeah, that's an empty ass Jim Cornette narrative being pushed by people that don't watch, people that watch clips. Again,
every match had a story connected to it in some way.
Yeah,
every fucking match tonight had a story. Every match every week has a fucking story. Even the quote unquote random dream matches have a fucking story attached to it. You see what I'm saying? Tony Hayes says you only have 13 watching on YouTube. There's about 100 people, 138 people watching across platforms today. Thankfully, 140 people because we just started our live stream situation a couple months ago. It's very fun. Of course, I don't really care about that stuff. I'm here to give my friends an outlet to talk about pro wrestling and to be able to react about shit like this immediately after.
Talking wrestling with the boys.
Yeah. Well, enjoy. We enjoy your company here, Tony Hayes. Yeah. Thank you for being with us.
Honestly, welcome all 139 people that are here listening to us.
We need AEW on Max as soon as possible. I agree.
Yeah. Is that an American thing?
HBO Max. You ain't got HBO Max? Damn, bro. Y'all motherfuckers broke.
Really?
No. Warner Brothers didn't hook y'all up? Broke. No.
Wow.
WBD is failing. They're getting rid of Canada.
Harvey Bruton.
What?
Harvey Bruton III says, I'm 43, been watching wrestling since I was 6 years old. So glad I remember a time when you could watch both shows and not catch bullshit over it. This generation of new wrestling fans is trash. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. It's partly because of the culture we drove online. Even us a few years ago, just being like, hell yeah, finally there's something different on the fucking television. And now people are like, yeah, we're getting you back now. Your show is trash. It's not always true. You know what I mean? But
a different kind of tribalism back in the 90s when we didn't really have, a lot of places to post the internet too. Like if you go to some of those old forums, you still see a lot of the same thing where it's just like, oh, you're a WCW fan? Oh.
It's part. Oh God, I got a baby in the background with a mother that abandoned her.
No. You have a baby.
Anyway, listen.
Baby? Yeah, CM Punk's in the background there. I see that picture.
When you say something like this, people kind of dismiss it, especially like fans. Like if you're a fan of only WWE, then it bothers you when I say something like WWE conditioned a generation of fans. I don't mean that as like some horrible, like imaginary, like Vince McMahon fucking is evil and he was picking the brains of pro wrestling fans to make them think a certain way years later. No, man. But when the only company that exists for 20 fucking years, when the only company to exist on cable television, sorry, TNA guys, on a mainstream
offended.
level, on a mainstream level for literally, what's 20 years? A generation? Could you call 20 years? Yeah. Would you call it 2 generations? It's fucking. It's a whole ass life for some people. Some people never. There's a large chunk of the fan base today that never fucking watched WWE standing alongside other companies. No, it was just fucking Vince, just his vision and just his idea of pro wrestling for a long time. A lot of people react really fucking negatively to wrestling stepping out of that boundary. It's weird. It's wrong. There's something wrong with it. You see it in a lot of the people like Jim Cornette. Drew Slim says, so you don't think Cornette makes sense when he talks about what draws money in wrestling. Contrary to that fact, I think he's a fucking genius when it comes to pro wrestling. I think he has some outdated takes. I don't think he's ready to ever admit that in his whole life. So it's either going to be all Jim Cornette's way with no compromise or you're wrong. And that's where my issue comes, because I believe he does have some points. I believe that other things that he says are outdated. And I believe that if you kind of look at some of the later stuff that he was booking, you'll see the disconnect in between what he thinks draws and what the fans actually wanted. That doesn't mean that I think everything Jim Cornette says is wrong. If that's true, why would he be one of the top pro wrestling podcasts in the world? There has to be an element of fucking truth to what he says. I just think he turned a lot of it into a money grift, and that is what it is, man. He's a long-time pro wrestler, man. The worker works, and it's working. He's making a living off that shit. I think if he was straight up just making shit up and didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, he couldn't make money the way he's making money. It's just the way he works. But
knows how to talk.
It is what it is. Tony's got his lighter. He's gonna smoke a 4-foot bong.
Only 4
I'm here with you, buddy. I can't smoke on camera because YouTube and Facebook and all them, they don't like that. But I'll be with you after.
1 hour in, and that was the whole brawl.
Mac is saying something in the corner, but I don't got it. Mac? Barely. Kind of.
Your headset went again.
Your headset doesn't give a fuck. Your headset's going into business for itself, brother. I'm sorry.
It really is.
Sorry. It's Hangman. It's Hangman paging us.
Ooh. Can you hear me now?
Good.
That's good.
Taller. You're on the air.
Do you want? Oh man, I want to move on. But I feel like I should get it all off. I should get it all off my chest now, and then we never have to talk about it.
Can you hear me now, John?
Can I hear you now? Yeah. I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay, so you know me. I could go off on a CM Punk like diatribe on Jim Cornette just like you did a few minutes ago. So I think, like I always tell people, I say that Jim Cornette is a wealth of wrestling knowledge, but in 2020s, he uses it for evil. That's what I think. I think Jim Cornette could absolutely. I think Jim Cornette could benefit. People could benefit from what Jim Cornette says, but the good stuff that he says,
I'll check that out,
is not outweighed by the bigotry and just overall bullshit that he says.
Hey, I will say in pro wrestling, I think people pick and choose when they care about things like that. If it's somebody they like, they tend to ignore things like that. If it's somebody they don't like, they tend to harp on it really bad. This is the kind of person they are. I think that.
Well, Duty, I mean, he's saying he wants Orange. He's saying he wants Orange Cassidy to break his neck.
Yeah.
In a wrestling ring, and then people are like, "Yeah, that's what I want." And it's like, dude, you really want that?
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. Like, come on, like, I don't give a fuck that he says that. Like, because I mean, is one, it ain't gonna happen. Two,
no, I know that.
That's just the way that he insults people. Like, it's his form of. It's the way a lot of people did for a long time. So I don't blame him for like just being a part of his generation. Like he says, I fucking hate it. I fucking hate this thing, and I hope everybody that takes part in it fucking blows up. You know, like that's just him kind of promo. You know what I mean? Like that stuff doesn't. It's not that bothers me. You know what bothers me about Cornette is that he's so smart. He's so fucking smart in pro wrestling, and he uses his powers for evil. He drives. It's not that he uses his powers for evil. I know. I'm trying to be objective with this because I know people really.
Oh God, you don't want me talking
Jim
about
Cornette. No, but there's something to enjoy about him. If there wasn't, so many people wouldn't fucking enjoy his shit. And he's grown. His shit has grown so fucking big now. I mean, 2 years ago you could have said these things, but today is literally the largest pro wrestling podcast on this side of the world. You gotta admit there's some
dumb people.
There's something there. But it's like William says, if I had to re-outlaw Mud Show one more time, it's a bit of a.
But John, really gets me. You know what really gets me is the people that take on his vernacular on X. And yeah, I know I should fucking ignore them and shit like that. But when you have to use somebody else's words and you have to act like you're somebody else, you literally have no personality. Like people are literally going on there going, "Hey, Kenny Oliver and Twinkle Toes, you should get out of the outlaw mud shows and kill yourself." And it's like, dude, do you not have a personality? Did you have to take on somebody else's personality? Like, is that how you listen to a podcast and go, "Yep, that's the guy I'm going to model my life after. That's the guy who I want to be like." Well, I mean, except for you, John. But I mean,
you should. I get what you're saying. No, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, that's just a thing. Like, it's just one of those things. Like people are like that.
When I see people say that, I'm like,
people are like that in so many other areas of life. They just fucking grab onto a personality that they think is interesting and they take little pieces of it. it's just how life works. I'm pretty sure that for the first fucking 20 years of my life, I was just a mixture of like TJ from Recess and Vegeta or something. You know what I'm saying?
Vegeta's the way to do
Like,
it, though.
I don't know if I ever grew. I don't know if I ever grew out of that. But Ray. No. Ray says, you know, now I said the positive about Corny. What I don't like about him is that he can hold a grudge and give his biased opinions because he dislikes someone. To that point, that's partly why I stopped. I guess stop being a fan of Cornette because this happened before his podcast. I used to listen to his shoot interviews all the time. I love Jim Cornette shoot interviews. He's this fucking wealth of knowledge, but you kind of got a hint of it with the things that he had with the funny fucking grudge that he had against Vince Russo. Right, that was the one back in the day. He only had the one
pointing at each other.
He only had the Vince Russo thing. It was like Jim Cornette wealth of knowledge, Vince Russo hate in the center. Like okay, fine. He took that same energy. He gave it to all the things that I personally enjoy. Oh, like, I can't fuck with this guy anymore. Like, come on, dude. He's just chipping away. What am I supposed to do? Listen to him and be like, you know what? Oh, man, he's right. I actually hate all the things that I love. No, man. I was just like, damn, you know what? We have a difference in the things that we like, and I'm gonna move on. Now it seems like he's a bit of he's an influential voice in pro wrestling, and he doesn't fucking use his influence for anything but to drive his own grudges and narratives. I can't be a part of this as a fan, so I moved on. And anyway, I don't even want to talk to Corn about it anymore. Tony Ace is back to pro wrestling, and I'm with you. Back to fucking pro wrestling. 4 feet of heat, no coffin. I'm still a champ. Ah, nice. One fucking pull. So, yeah, closing thoughts before we, I guess, speed through the rest of Dynamite, because it wasn't really that much to suck on. Mac?
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on this before I move on?
Punk threw the first shot. He's a bitch, but I'm going to love him regardless. And I really hope that everything with him in WWE turns out well. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. I'm kind of indifferent on the whole situation. If it blows up in his face, he deserves it. If he does good in WWE, that's where he should have been all along. So I don't know. Fuck him, but I love him.
Understood. Caesar, any final thoughts about this CM Punk, Jim Cornette whole conversation that we had for an hour?
I've already said all I can say. I'm just going to watch because either way, one person says one thing that pisses off them and vice versa. So I'm just going to see where this goes because it is interesting. That's the easy way of explaining
Nick.
it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have a lot to say. No, not really.
The biggest thing. You might as well. This is the point. This is a place to get it off your chest, man. This is it.
The biggest thing for me is just love him or hate him. You know, CM Punk, he's got this element to him where no matter what, look at how we've spent an hour talking about him. How many podcasts have we spent only talking about CM Punk? And you can argue the same thing about guys like a Cornette or even like going to like a Paul Heyman. Some of these big, huge, amazing personalities within pro wrestling, whether you love them or you hate them, you can't help but watch what they do next. So you know what? I'll say best of luck to the endeavors of everyone we just talked about, especially CM Punk. And I look forward to seeing the fallout between all of this stuff. And again, like my little thing says here, please, I just want more backstage fight footage. I don't care what company it is. I don't care how petty it is. I really just love the tea that comes from releasing all this stuff.
Booker T, Batista fight.
Yeah, I see. I go on my page and I just see some of the lame duck, small brain, little kid takes, and I have to remember, like, some of these people are 10. Some of these people are fucking teenagers. It's like, man, some of the shit they say, some of the shit they have to, some of the shit they push is so fucking. You mentioned you hate when people grab a personality off of somebody else. They're fucking 10, Mac. They don't have a personality yet.
Dude.
Damn it.
No, dude, I'm telling you, I've seen the fans that Jim Cornette has, and they're in their 30s, 40s, sometimes even 50. Dude, we had one person that follows you. I'm not going to say his name. You know who he is.
He's talking about Christopher Rhodes, the dude who follows on he follows us on Dershi Radio. The guy the guy got, I think Mac blocked him, and I wouldn't have done that, but Mac blocked him, and he comes on now. He follows my page.
Hey,
as it turns out, he's one of the biggest engagement people that I have. That's why I never block. That's why I fucking tell you all the time, Mac, don't block nobody on Dirty Radio. Because it don't matter how they feel.
I blocked him because he came after me on my personal page. That's why I blocked him.
He's a weirdo. But beyond that, I don't think we can make fun of people directly because then Facebook get mad
engagement.
at him. When he says, I am not 10. I know, it's not you. Matt says, I'll fight kids. I'll be back. I understand. Tony says, I am 420. Shit, you too?
No, the last time we heard from him.
No, this is that rest in peace AEW. Eventually, I think that as long as I think you misunderstand just how rich Tony Khan is. Like it's rest in peace the day he decides that he ain't gonna pay no more.
I remember, like they said when their initial offering, when they were showing everything that they had planned out for it, they mentioned they had about 5 to 10 years ready if things went completely south and they weren't making any money off of AEW. So they have a lot ready to go just in case.
Ari Ray says, I don't wish anything bad on AEW. I just hope Tony Khan just turns the page and uses the Punk incident as motivation to succeed in AEW. I feel like that's what we got here. I feel like that's what we got here. You know what? If they want to make it an issue, we will address it directly and we'll tie it into the story. We'll have the baby faces say we want to move on. And then we will, in fact, move on. As you remember, it was another company that brought up AEW all week long during their biggest week of the fucking year. I imagine if I was Tony Khan, I would be quite similar to the real version, as in I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut for nobody because I'm not built that way. I got something to say about everything all the time. But he's a businessman and he's a professional and he owns a large business. Motherfuck, what the fuck does that matter to you? What is that gonna change?
Everyone also neglects all of his responsibilities that he has with the Jags and with Fulham as well.
No, Pro Wrestling Hipster has a point. TK is literally like Donald Duck, Richie Rich, Uncle Scrooge,
jumping off
Rich,
the board into money, Rich.
Literally. Look, he said he's just using his allowance money. It's not even his pocket.
It's not an allowance. It's like
pocket change. Hey, Dad, I need another $100 million. What the fuck not, man?
Please, I need it.
Shit. Some of that bothers people. That bothers the old people so much. You know how much that kills Eric Bischoff? Oh my God, he's one of them old. I pulled myself up by the bootstrap, and this guy, he says these things about me. He's gonna keep this shit. I don't think AEW will recover from this. AEW gonna recover from fucking.
Tony's high.
I don't think you understand. Like, you genuinely don't understand.
I think Tony's just trolling us.
The motherfucker can do what. He can do whatever he wants.
Maybe it's both.
He could fucking actually book the finger poke of doom next Wednesday. And the company still won't fucking die. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, AEW is funny as hell. Because TNA's still alive. TNA's still alive. AEW gonna be A-okay, buddy.
TNA are the Twinkies in the apocalypse.
Matt's just firing all cylinders over there.
Mac's going crazy, but we gonna move on real fast, man, because this is what I had to say about this, man. The show was supposed to open up with Samoa Joe and Dustin Rhodes, and I probably would have preferred it if it opened up with Samoa Joe and Dustin Rhodes, but it didn't. They went and they cut to Penta versus Edge, which was awesome. I thought it started off slow though. I was like, oh fuck, Edge looking tired. Because Penta was moving so fast. But they kind of found each other as the match went on. And I thought, apparently around the time where Edge reversed into that power slam onto the apron, I was like, okay.
That's definitely where they started to mesh.
Yeah. I was like, okay, we're finding each other now. And by the end, they did pretty good. They put this fucking countdown to the Young Bucks thing had me crying. This is their boy. I think that's one of those things that people would normally take as like a shot, but that's their boy. So it's like a fucking joke. It's like just a thing the Elite does.
They're all the Elite.
Yeah.
They are the Elite, right? Isn't that crazy? There's a member of the Elite that's currently your world champion.
Oh, just remember that too. Remember the little hand signs Cody gave at the Royal Rumble.
That's true. He's still here. Actually, I tied that into the story for my own self because it's funny as hell. Like CM Punk got thrown out by a member of the Elite. It just felt right. Anyway, again, Edge retains. He ends up getting saved by he gets attacked by Julia Hart and Brody King, and he ends up getting saved by Willow Nightingale.
Damn.
I fucking love Willow Nightingale, man. I love Willow so much, bro. He said, has there been talk of more new wrestling promos for TV and such? You mean like promotions? Well, NWA almost got onto CW, but they fucked that up for themselves. So, I mean, you should wait for NXT, I guess. But yeah, Edge versus Punk. Edge versus Punk. That was last week. That was last week's promo. Adam versus Penta ends. I thought this was a waste of Penta. I was like, damn, great match. I'm sick and fucking tired seeing Pentagon come out and lose title matches. Just that's like what he's here for. Like that's his job. That's his purpose in life. No real push. This shit makes me sick.
That ending was really good though.
Like I said, the ending was fine. It's just that Pentagon is worth so much more than this. Remember the 3 minutes when he was world champion in Impact? It's like I was so excited for that.
It was literally one taping.
One taping. I remember being like, I remember they put the belt on him, and I was like, yo, Impact finally made a great move. It's been a long time. And then,
John, it was literally the first taping. Aries came out. It was an impromptu match. Penta won, and then they did 4 weeks of taping, and then the last week of the tapings at the same fucking show, Penta lost the title. So it was like literally like 4 hours, but it was 4 weeks of TV.
Throw some likes, live chat. Yeah, boy.
You know the thing with Penta is like he's got such a great look and he's fantastic in the ring. He is like the perfect person you could market as a champion in one way or another. Doesn't matter if it's a world championship, doesn't matter if it's an open challenge championship. Give him a title, let him be himself, and just watch the money roll in if you market that guy as a champion.
I thought when they gave you got the Death Triangle shirt going on. I thought when they gave him Alex Abrahantes, that was what that's what we were about to do. With AEW, with Penta, just pushing him and giving him a guy that could be his mouthpiece as he gets pushed. But it hasn't happened.
To Abrahantes getting speared.
He gets shit speared out of him. Everyone is like, no.
Man.
Tony says Penta should be in WWE. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think they're doing better with the Luchadors. But I'm still a little suspicious of all the luchadors being grouped into the same segment every week. That still bothered me a little bit.
Dragon Lee getting cut from Mania.
Dragon Lee deadass got cut from WrestleMania. It's all right.
Off, basically.
I'm not gonna get into it. For my own preference, I prefer Penta to be in the place where they're gonna let Penta be Penta. But I also would just prefer they push the shit out of him because look at the clean ass blue Beetle outfit he got on. Come on, man.
That was pretty good.
Was he a Lucha Underground champion, John?
Yeah, wasn't he? Didn't he fucking have a whole ass thing? Yeah. Like he had a whole giant story arc that ended with him as champ.
Yeah.
I might be thinking of someone else. I had to go back, but we had they did the Young Bucks thing. They did All Out Brawl In. He says, "What up with Phoenix now? I'm out of the loop. Phoenix is hurt. He'll be back eventually." Ray says Tony Khan should hire someone like Scott D'Amore to run AEW. Khan should just lay back a little and see what others can do for his company creatively. I don't think he'll ever do that. I don't think I would do that. I think that's like a pipe dream. Like Tony Khan should just give it to somebody else. You know what that does? Do you know what that does? You turn it into another company at that point. Like if he was just to give it to Scott D'Amore tomorrow, it just wouldn't be AEW anymore. It'd be like AEW with Scott D'Amore's creatives attached to it. It's a reboot. It's like it's the same way Triple H's WWE isn't Vince's WWE. That's a good thing.
John, Pentagon was Lucha Underground champion dos times.
That makes sense. He's fucking excellent. Buster says Penta made me love Lucha all over again. Yep. Understandable because Penta and Phoenix, when they first came onto the scene and they were doing the indie shows and they were doing the Lucha Underground, changed my whole perception about what Lucha is. Right. You know what I mean?
LAX, John.
Oh,
yeah, the fucking Lucha Bros versus LAX matches were incredible, and I thought that those were going to come to AEW, and we never got any of them. Mm-hmm. Tony Hayes says, "Oh no, that's not the comment I was looking for." But yes, I agree. They're a fucking 8-foot bong. I'm down with it. Hunter says, what are your thoughts on Will Ospreay's response to Triple H? Actually, that's a great question because I was just about to.
Hey, we're almost there.
Woo! Will Ospreay comes out. First thing he does is he says, I heard somebody had an issue with my groin.
Sounded like groin.
No, you're talking about his work ethic, and he says the person who talked about his work ethic got his job by fucking grinding on the boss's daughter's lap. Listen, Penta, Phoenix, Drago, 3-way for Lucha Underground made me fall in love with all three of them. Damn right. It's all good, Buster. Listen, people had an issue with what Ospreay said. You fucking killing me? Are you kidding me? This is what kills me, man. This is why I said the fan, like you shouldn't even be. I shouldn't even address it because it's a fan thing. On an objective level, I don't think there was any fucking thing wrong with what Will Ospreay did. It was a shot at somebody who took a shot. You know what I mean? It wasn't random as fuck. Like he just came out and decided to randomly bring up fucking Triple H. You know what I mean? Like it was a direct. Ray said it wasn't a direct dig at Ospreay though. Oh yeah, I'm sure he was talking about.
Brian
There's nobody else to talk about. What is he talking about? It's Okada, it's Ospreay, it's Mercedes, it's Mariah May. You think he's talking about Mariah May? You think Triple H is taking shots? If Triple H is taking shots at Mariah May, he deserves somebody to come out there and cut a promo on his ass. What the fuck did she do to you?
Leave her and Mina alone.
Ospreay is another epic talent now. He is a now talent. He is like Bryan Danielson actually said it in a promo, I think last week, where he came out and he's like, Will Ospreay is one of the greatest modern professional wrestlers that there is. And the reason he said that is because Ospreay wrestles the modern wrestling style. I think the perfect version of the modern wrestling style. I think the only issue with that is that sometimes in modern wrestling, there's no real slowdown. Like we're fucking having that
fast.
We're going. We're just going.
But what's the problem with people having a problem with guys taking more money and working less days and prolonging their career? I don't understand that. Like if my boss said to me, "Hey, you only have to come into work 2 days a week now, but we're going to pay you the same amount as if you came in 5 or on 6 days on overtime," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I want that." Like, what's the problem with that? Like, Ospreay was wrestling 16 times in 25 days in New Japan because he was doing those little house shows and then the road twos and then the big shows. Now he's going to be wrestling maybe 4 times a month and once on a big pay-per-view, and he's going to be able to wrestle until he's fucking 45 now instead of, when people were predicting, if he keeps going at this rate, won't wrestle past 30. And it's like, bro, he just took a lighter schedule. He proved you wrong and you're giving him shit about it?
Well, here's the thing. He didn't even he tried to make it like, I'm glad I didn't choose you. I mean, first of all, you got left. Like they didn't choose you. That's the thing. Like it came across as salty to me. I thought it was a joke. Like I laugh. I think it's funny. I don't take like an issue with it. I don't clutch my pearls over it. Well, how could he say that about Will Ospreay? No, I'm really fucking interested in seeing what Ospreay had to say back. And Ospreay came out here and he fucking cooked him. Sorry, cooked the man. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I know if you really like Triple H, then when you hear that old Stephanie McMahon dig, it bothers, right? That's an old classic. That's got a little merit to it.
I guarantee Triple H too was absolutely loving the fact that Ospreay threw it back. Like, there's no way he didn't appreciate that.
I think that the idea, Ray says, I believe it's always been Hunter's take. He said since the 2000s that the talent is not driven and the talent is not able to grind to have no business in WWE. In the 2000s, he was taking a dig at Goldberg when he said those things directly. I on top of that, I think the idea of the grind, it's an idealistic thing that people are all talking about, and none of us have the same idea of what the grind is or why it exists. The way I'm thinking of it, Triple H is just sour grapes. If you want to really look at what he said and act like I guess it was a real criticism, I think it's completely lopsided to imagine that there's something wrong with being offered a lighter schedule. Not going to the office and being like, "Hey, dog, this schedule you gave me is too fucking much, man. This grind, I can't do this. WWE's not for me." You're talking about being offered a better situation for your life. Hey, I don't live in America. I gotta go back home every fucking week. I don't want to travel 18 fucking days out of the next 21. I want to raise my kid. What the fuck is wrong with that? Holy shit. Will Ospreay is not 21 years old. The 30 fucking year old man. 33? What is he, 33? And he's got...
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You like William says the Triple H feel the same way about Brock leaving in 04. Brock left in 04 literally because of the grind.
Yeah.
They came back and they gave him the lightest schedule in the history of the damn company.
John,
That's exactly what he wanted.
Ospreay is 30 years old.
30-year-old man. 30-year-old man with a family is offered an opportunity to make a lot of money and spend less time on the road. You know how many fucking wrestlers? Did you never watch The Wrestler, Triple H? Like, do you know how many wrestlers lost their life, lost their wives, lost their kids, lost the respect of their fucking families because of the grind?
Junkyard Dog falling asleep at the wheel.
Yo, this shit is crazy that everybody's cheering this shit along. Like, what the fuck?
Like, who wouldn't want more money to work less time? Like, that just sounds like the dream to me. And then, like, on top of that, people gotta remember too, like, pro wrestling within these like major league companies, it's not like you're just traveling like 20 minutes to get to your regular 9-to-5 job. Like, there's a lot that you have to do travel wise. Not just that, but you also have all these appearances that they're booking you for that you have to make. You're doing whatever charity events you have to do, plus trying to find time to work out.
Hey, makes a point. Look at Ric Flair, bro. You fucking claim to love Ric Flair, dog, and you're trying to create a generation of more Ric Flair situations. But it ain't. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. I don't believe he believes that. It was sour grapes. He didn't fucking believe that. Triple H don't believe what the fuck he's saying. Triple H got 3 daughters. You think Triple H thinks this for real? No, man. He's salty that he didn't get to sign Ospreay, and he's trying to downplay it so that they don't seem as big free agents as they are. He even try to make him seem like a young boy, like at this stage in his career. Bro, what the fuck?
John, not to interrupt you, but AEW just announced that on Saturday, April 13th, Shane Taylor will face Hook for the FTW Championship at Battle of the Belts. And it's going to be Powerhouse Hobbs and Kyle Fletcher versus Claudio and Brian on Collision. And on Collision, we also getting Azumi versus Toni Storm in an AEW women's title eliminator match.
Holy shit. Why did they announce all that all late, man? They should announce this shit on Dynamite. What the fuck they be on? If there's one thing that I don't even like, I'll say it here so that I don't have to make a public post about it. We'll keep it a secret among us in the chat. If there's one thing if there's one thing I agree with, of all them corny ass shots WWE was taking last week, if there's one thing I agree with, is that because the company is so new, they don't have a corporate structure the way WWE does. And sometimes that really works against them. Sometimes I feel like when I have to put this show together on a fucking, like, I didn't get to prepare while the show, like, I got to put it together now while it's happening. Sometimes I get that feeling. Sometimes I get the feeling like, oh, fuck, we forgot something. Like, that's kind of, but the little ruggedness is what I enjoy. Like, I like watching them grow. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But if I had to agree with anything that they fucking said last week on all those WWE digs, it's the idea that sometimes the company doesn't act like a $1 billion company. And you know what that is? Because they're fucking 5 years old, and because they're still figuring this shit out. Hey, Tony's
how's a pro wrestling company supposed to be acting?
There's that. There's some of that. Like, you know, I mention all the time, one of the things I love about AEW is that it's run like a wrestling company. You know what I'm saying? It's run like a wrestling company. It's not run like a overproduced television series. You know what I mean? It's not a show about wrestling. It's a wrestling show. So that comes with a little bit of ruggedness, a little bit of professionalness in other areas that fucking that don't. If you're used to WWE corporate environment and you come here and it's like loosey goosey, fucking get this shit, get your shit done, get your shit in type of place, you ain't gonna mesh. So I get that. I get Jay Cargill when she says, the front office is the front office, and she's talking about WWE. She just thinks they can help her out better, and they can set her up better than AEW can, because Tony Khan is focused on 17,000 fucking things at once. So I get that. If you want to hear me say something bad about AEW, it's buried in 2 hours of it's buried. Lucha Underground has some great matches. Ray, I'll subscribe to your channel for sure. Become a regular. You see me often. Ray. It was nice talking wrestling with you guys. Yo, Ray, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I know it's getting late. I know it's midnight on the East Coast, so we'll go ahead and we'll run through the rest of these matches. Will Ospreay promo, great stuff. I can't wait to see him versus Bryan. Shane Taylor Promotions versus Lionhook. I didn't care. Is that are we? Can I say that?
Bathroom.
Unanimous.
No, I watched. I thought that I mean, part of me, it's because I don't want to see the Jericho Hook story. Like I'm like, I don't think this is gonna lead to any great matches. I don't think Jericho versus Hook on Dynasty, like you're gonna drag the rating down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like
they already did it on Dynamite, didn't they?
They did, and it wasn't even everything. But it looks like they're headed towards it again. Hopefully they'll give it a stip. Hopefully they'll run around the building. Hopefully they'll brawl. Hopefully they'll turn it into something fun, because a straight up match, you're talking about a show that has the Young Bucks versus FTR, Ospreay versus Bryan, Okada versus PAC. You think I want to see fucking Hook versus Chris Jericho on that card? No, I have no interest in that. I'm gonna get Jack Perry back. What the fuck are we doing?
Hook. Give me Hook versus Lee Moriarty. I'd take that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I do want to say is it was nice that they at least gave Shane Taylor Promotions something of a victory going in here. I'm just sad that it came at the expense of Shibata.
It got Shane Taylor a title match against Hook, so there's something.
That's true.
That, and because they had Lee Moriarty pin Shibata, I'm kind of like, okay, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that match.
They emphasize the boxing backgrounds of Shane Taylor and Ogogo.
I forgot that Ogogo came back, and I think that's because I didn't see Collision. I freaking didn't get to watch Collision. I was like, what the fuck is Anthony Ogogo doing here? Putting him in a faction is probably the best way to go. I don't really have any interest in seeing Anthony Ogogo on his own. I'd like for him to Ogogo away, but but you know what? It's been so long since I've seen him on TV that maybe he's better now. Maybe he get the stink of that Cody Rhodes.
We saw him that Cody match.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Well, they did the pre-show during All In.
And that shit didn't count.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Kip Sabian did too. Like, nobody remembers this shit.
I miss Sabian. We're not using.
I like Kip on Twitter. He's pretty funny.
Kip is the forgotten pillar, quote unquote. He really is, though. He really actually is. Like, genuinely is one of the original versions of what they thought a pillar would be.
And one of the first matches, too.
Kazuchika Okada defeats Mr. Cristiano Argento.
My man.
Looking easy job of shit. Okada.
He was bored as fuck.
It's great. He's got great facials. He's got great. Let me pull that up. I'm uploading it.
Oh, please pull that up. Please.
He's a great character, man. For a guy whose English is a second language, possibly a third, because he spent so much time in Mexico. I'm pretty sure Spanish is his second language. He just understands. He just understands how to make this shit work. He comes out here. They gave me a fucking jobber. He gives you the fucking jobber face. Like, he accepts PAC's challenge, right? And PAC comes out and they fucking jumped him and all that shit. Why he knocked this shit out of PAC with that chair, bro? That chair shot.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was just clonk because it looked like he didn't want to drive it into his head, but it's still like clonk, like you just hear skull cracking across it.
There was no give to that chair shot at all.
Jesus Christ. I can't wait to see Okada versus PAC, by the way.
Yeah.
That's one of those matches that I didn't even.
How good does that belt look on him?
All things look good on Okada. You won't get me to say good things about that belt, unfortunately. I got
does
nothing
look
good
on
to
there.
say
Rectangles, am I right?
about that fucking plain championship title design. That's my thought on that. But moving on beyond that, we had the Mariah May versus Anna Jay. Oops, sorry, Nick. I fucked up. I forget that you have it. I'm like so fucked up. You got this, baby boy.
We keep
Listen.
like double tapping it.
Everybody wanted to talk about CM Punk. They want to talk about Jack Perry, All In, the Young Bucks. Are they good guys? Are they bad guys?
Not me.
You think I give a fuck? You think I could give a fuck about that today? You think I could care when we had this queen, the queen on Dynamite? All right. Anna Jay versus Mariah May. Mariah May defeats Anna Jay. It's a pretty none match. I if I had to say anything, if I had to give it any real critique, it's that Mariah May, not Mariah May, Anna Jay, she was really, really getting better and better, and then she got that shoulder injury, and ever since then, I feel like she just stopped progressing, and that really stinks. And I hate that for her. And I hope that we can get her back on track. But Mariah May is excellent, and fucking Mariah May starts getting beat up, and who makes their way out? I lost my shit. Mina Shirakawa finally debuts on AEW. The queen, the fucking queen. I love Mina.
Incoming who?
Incoming who from everybody who doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's debuting her in West Virginia was a choice because literally nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Like when her music played, they didn't know who it was. And it didn't have it didn't put the name on. You know, sometimes they drop a name on you so you can pop anyway, but they just let the hearts go.
John, everyone watched Supercard of Honor.
Oh yeah,
that song
all
is
20,000 of us, baby.
Yep,
that song is a.
Oh,
bop,
that's
though.
yeah, that's her. What's it called? Cosmic. It's a Don Omar song, and this is the cosmic version of it. And I've been listening. I love the fucking song. I love her theme. I love it in Stardom. Love her here. But if you don't understand what was going on, before Mariah May came to AEW, Mariah May was in Mina Shirakawa's faction, Club Venus. They became tag team champions together. They have a long-standing relationship with each other, whether or not it's platonic or romantic. Mina, in the words of Mina, no, that's a secret. So, the idea is that Toni Storm at the WrestleMania weekend shows discovered Mariah May hanging out with her old buddy Mina, and she's gotten jealous. So she brings out she brings out flowers and shit for Mariah, and she's like, "Ha, bitch, you can't do anything." And Mina and Toni are like fighting over Mariah May. So Mina chases Mariah May all the way to AEW and plants one right on her fucking mouth. This is what the show is about. This is what pro wrestling is all about right here.
First 50 rows.
This is that shit. Where's Umaga and Rosie to come out and take care of this motherfucker right here?
3 minutes.
It's gone on 3 minutes.
Tony says TK doesn't get that no American fans know who these Japanese wrestlers are. Let me tell you something, Tony. Use Google, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. You understand? When they pull some shit out like that and it's for me, why would I care if you like it or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was for me. If you want to enjoy it how I enjoy it, do some research. Do I think they should make more of an effort? I don't know how you do that when the idea is the story. I mean, I guess they could have played a video package. I know y'all like that shit. Ice Cube likes that. If I guess I even agree they could have played a video package of Toni Storm's interactions during WrestleMania weekend at the Stardom event, and even showed clips of what happened at Ring of Honor when Mariah came out to congratulate the girls, but they didn't. And as much as that sucks, I fucking loved it. It stinks seeing Mina come out to no reaction, but again, give her a couple weeks, you'll all love her the way I do. God, I mean,
where was she hiding all that?
Come on, all that color in her hair, possibly behind the old Asian tropes. Like we should be avoiding that, but
hiding all the champagne.
That's true. William says because Hispanic and Japanese wrestlers didn't just show up in WCW cruiserweight matches. Although I would not reference WCW because then the people who don't know any better are just going to be like, well, that's why they failed. When actually the Hispanic and Japanese cruiserweight showing up on WCW TV randomly was some of the best stuff they ever fucking did in their whole run.
Which they stole from ECW.
which they stole from ECW entirely. Anyway, what did Eric Bischoff say in the
Heyman even
documentary?
mentioned that.
That's not a raid. That's business. No, you're a fucking cunt. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. So,
dude, that 2 out of 3 falls match that Rey Mysterio had with Psychosis in the ECW arena is what made Eric Bischoff was like, oh fuck, where'd these guys come from? I need them.
Yeah, Buster Cannon says Cruiserweight WCW was the shit.
Oh, yeah.
For all that, for what that being said, someone earlier had mentioned, like, I never got to watch much WCW. Please recommend me. I'm trying to find their comment. Okay, boom. There it is. As someone who's never seen WCW besides clips and documentaries, what's a good starting point to watch and what made it so exciting to
1992.
watch?
1992.
Nick? No, I want to let Nick get this because on the show, he's got the family. One of the unique things about Nick, he grew up in a WCW household. I don't know many people who grew up in a WCW household. You're talking mom, you're talking everybody in the family, WCW fans. Nick, I would like you to give our boy Angel Flores a bit of a starting point.
So I say, depending on what you want out of your pro wrestling, there's a few avenues that you could take here. One of the biggest that I'm going to say is if you really like the kind of more modernized type of wrestling where it's that variety show feel and you want a little bit of everything, like if you want to start at like late 95 WCW around the time Nitro begins, that's a good starting point for that. But if you really want to get invested in some of like the stuff where it's like, this is where Hogan comes in, this is why, he's having this rivalry with Flair, this is why so many people on the roster exist, start in late 93, early 94. Now, if you want the complete amazing start to finish WCW experience without a lot of the NWA stuff, because I feel like a lot of that sometimes might slow down your binge watching, I'd say start at maybe like 91, 92. Those are great starting points as well. I get a thumbs up for Mac on that one. And if you want to be like me and be a complete WCW nerd, start all the way back in 1983 and just go as far as you can to get to 2001.
He says, what made it so exciting? I would argue that a lot of it is when WWF did WrestleMania, and I know a lot of the context of that is really, really gone today. But since we've all pretty much watched WrestleMania this week, I'd like to give you a bit of a reference point. Did you notice how celebrity and not infested,
basically.
How many celebrities are involved in this shit and how many celebrities WWE's had gotten into business with for all these years. When WrestleMania happened, that was legitimately the first real time. I mean, of course, you had the Muhammad Ali versus Inoki and shit like that, but I'm talking integrating the world of pop culture into pro wrestling. When they say, this isn't your daddy's wrestling, well, guess what? Daddy still liked wrestling. Fuck. They say it as a bad thing, like this isn't your daddy's wrestling. Motherfucker, wrestling was really cool as fuck. It was gritty, it was dirty, it was grimy, it was rough, it was manly, it was testosterone filled. Yeah. It was cool. God damn it. WCW maintained that attitude as WWF turned more into a pop culture machine, into Saturday Night's Main Event, into fucking rock and wrestling, and then beyond that, it became the cartoon characters and the PG and the new generation stuff that wasn't working before they figured. I don't want to say they figured it out, but before it got better, WCW carried that spirit for a little while before they also got into the sports entertainment of it all, but. Nick,
WCW had a lot of real cool things too about it, because how can you not enjoy? I mean, people want to always point to the NWO as being the cool stable. I'm going to say this: 4 Horsemen all the way, 100%. Especially when you go to the OG Horsemen, we're talking the early mid 80s. Oh, I'm going to get super passionate. And you got a lot of the 80s shows available. Jim Crockett Promotions and Mid-Atlantic, all of that's on YouTube. You can go check out all those shows and hear Tony Schiavone and catch all the different references. But oh man, I am so excited to talk about WCW finally, guys. And just the fact that this is why I like AEW so much, because I see a lot of WCW in there for the good of WCW. And again, cruiserweight wrestling, yes, they stole it from ECW, but at the same time, just the fact that we were able to showcase a lot of great matches, Bash at the Beach 96 is historically significant for the birth of the NWO. You watch the pay-per-view, holy crap, that card sucks. Except Rey Mysterio and Psychosis. That was like one of the good matches on that whole card.
Nick, what do you think about like the early like vicious like Vader and Cactus Jack matches and the strap match with Sting and Vader? Like for me, it was Vader that got me into WCW because he was just throwing bitches all over the place. Like every Saturday night, every pay-per-view, this dude is just, he's doing moonsaults and backflips over the top rope. He's doing cartwheels and shit. And this guy's like damn near 400 fucking pounds. And I'm sitting there going like, I don't want Doink the Clown anymore. I want Vader.
Oh,
Bro,
man, I bet you
Vader.
Vader's going to be so cool when he goes to the WWF, man. I'm sure they're going to be so fucking cool. It's going to be awesome. He's going to be in there with Stone Cold and
I'm a fat piece of shit.
Tony says, how old are you for, gentlemen? Please don't lie. I ain't an old man. I think I'm an old man. I'm getting there. I'm about to be.
I'm 42.
I'm about to be 33.
Like that.
I'm 33. I'm 32 as of now. So,
I'm 41 as of now. I'll be 42 in a month.
Oh, Caesar doesn't want to reveal his age. He's hiding.
I was actually kind of shocked when you said you're 32, John. To be
yeah. Am I an old? Do I come off as older?
No,
Shit.
I just didn't know what number to guess.
So, John, does that mean I was like 25? I was like 28, and you were 18 when we met at Ring of Honor shows, dude. Jesus fucking Christ!
Wait, how old's Nate then?
I am not
60.
going to reveal my age, but I am born in the 90s.
He said, "We know you're 50, bro. Hey, fuck you, all right? I can still move, baby. I don't need that blue pill yet."
He's like, "Oh shit."
Jesus is out of Dirt Sheet Radio.
That's the end of the
Play says, "Hello, Diet Sheet, Dirt Sheet." He said,
Diet Sheet?
He did. I was like, "Oh shit, I do need to
A
diet."
new thing.
Tony says, "You are pups." Ah, thank you, man. I feel old. I got like 3 kids, dog. They all. As a matter of fact, I got one right here. It doesn't even belong here. But yeah, man. Hey, one final thing about tonight's show, the main event, Samoa Joe versus Dustin Rhodes. Can I say that Dustin always brings it? Even when I feel so bad because when they advertise a Dustin Rhodes match, I'm always like,
See how this goes.
And then he fucking goes out and he kills it every time. He just puts in so much work and he fucking blades and he bleeds and he takes a beating and he puts a beating and he still got it. Like
does
that,
modern wrestling moves.
He does. I mean,
he couldn't defeat a champion that got put through a table like an hour and a half earlier.
Samoa Joe got choked by a chain and was like, "This is nothing for me."
Yeah.
William says his entire family stopped watching WCW because he was heartbroken due to Hogan's heel turn. He says he was 3 years old. He started heel turn on tape, ran into his room, and ripped every Hogan picture he had on his wall. Hey, Don't feel bad. When I was 11, when I was 10 years old, I stopped watching the WWF for 3 fucking years because WCW invaded, and I thought they really took over the show. I think Booker T and Buff Bagwell took over Raw, and they main evented, and they changed the logos on the TV screen and shit, and it said WCW, and I was like, I'm not fucking watching this shit. And I left. I fucking left pro wrestling for like 3 years.
John, the funny thing about that is that they were going to split the brands into WCW and WWE, and Booker T and Buff Bagwell shit the bed so bad they were like, "Nah, fuck this, we're not doing Nitro."
Brother, I was 11 and I knew. I knew something was wrong.
And then they threw Buff Bagwell out the back door on SmackDown, and he was never seen again.
And that was the end of the line for Buff.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, we're close in 135K DSR for life.
Hey.
For life. Oh man. So Bobby, but ultimately, Joe beats on Dustin. I turned around for like 3 seconds. I turned back around. Dustin was busted open.
Yes, exactly.
Same thing with me. I
When
think I
did
would
that
take
happen?
a piss. Yeah.
But it was a pretty good physical match. Swerve gets involved at the end, and it was about they bookended the show with Swerve and Joe, and that's good booking. I'm not mad at it at all. Somebody called the early thing a bait and switch, but I was like, it was all right. I didn't really have an issue with it. They gave us the match. It's like for a bait and switch, you kind of have to actually switch. You know what I'm saying?
Not get the match.
Swerve looks good with that title, man.
the fact Dustin and QT Marshall was a fired tag team, they fucking were. Tony says if he was Booker, he would have had Dustin Rhodes as the champ. Fuck, I don't know. Both brothers as opposite promotion champions. You certainly could have got at least a couple nice photo ops.
I can't believe Dusty's the booker for both AEW and WWE.
How did we let Dusty's ghost book both world companies?
That graphic's wrong. It was an eliminator match.
That's right. Hey, you know what? It ain't never going to be a championship match now. So
we gotta just give Dustin something. Remember when this was supposed to be a year of his retirement tour? Until Sting said, "I want to retire."
I forgot that actually happened. I forgot he mentioned that he wanted to retire.
It was on an indie show where he said, "This is my last year."
2 years ago.
So, what did y'all think of this match?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, you know what? I mean, I'm a fan of Blood. I'm an old ECW guy. I'm a current GCW guy. I like Blood in a match, but you know, unless he got busted open hard way, I just don't see the need to slice your head open in a match where you're going to lose anyway. You know, I don't know. Maybe it added to the whole gritty, you know, veteran thing, fighting through the pain and stuff like that. But I just didn't see a need for it. But the match was, I thought the match was decent. I mean, like you say, Dustin kills it all the time. He killed it with Sammy Guevara. He killed it in that bunkhouse match. And when it counts, he steps up, man, and he's reliable. He's good. I thought the match was like a 6.5 out of 10. Nothing, you know, nothing extraordinary, but better than average.
I guess to address the Blood point, I actually disagree. I think that I think the idea that we're slicing our head, it ain't that big a fucking deal. The reason they use the forehead is because of a fucking big ass fucking bone. As long as you don't bump into it and shake your brain around in there, it's a little fucking slice. You'll be all right. It ain't gonna hurt you. This isn't the 80s. You ain't gonna
don't have the veiny forehead.
You know, as long as somebody as long as the company's doing all the right checks and shit. You know what I'm saying? I say this assuming that AEW is doing medical checks and we're making sure that nobody has fucking viral venereal disease.
Remember when Cowboy Bob Orton was blading in Hell in a Cell, and then he got fired because of that?
Yeah, to the Undertaker, the Hell in a Cell, Randy Orton versus Undertaker. They fucking had Cowboy Bob Orton blade, and I think he bled on the Undertaker, didn't he?
Bled on Undertaker.
Yeah, and he had hepatitis C. Yeah.
Ooh, child. See, my assumption is that the company is beyond things like that. When I say that it's okay, right? Because I'm assuming, like, obviously, if they're not blood testing, then we shouldn't be doing. Like, I don't think we should do it on the indies all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because we just don't fucking know. Like, we have you blood tested us today. But I think on a bigger stage, I think you're fine. I think of course explaining that to some sponsors is probably hard. Hey, our guys are gonna slice their heads open, and you have to like it or you don't. And Mattel's like, what the fuck?
Self-mutilation.
I can't sell Barbies to dudes who cut themselves on TV.
Oh, but Ringside Collectibles is like, oh shit, another bloody figure we can make.
Yeah, that happened. Abdullah the fucking butcher. He certainly was one of those. I don't want to get too into it because there's like a whole court case behind that shit.
dude, look at Devon's head nowadays.
Honestly,
that's the other side effect. That's what you should really be worried about. Looking like an ECW legend in the forehead when your fucking career is over.
New Jack's forehead.
Necro butchers.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was pretty much the show though. Beyond anything else, did you guys have any final thoughts about the show tonight?
Just thought it was just there. Besides the whole Punk thing, that's going to be a talking point for like a week, and then people forget about it. But other than that, it was just there.
Yeah.
Would you argue that they had a feeling that they were going to overshadow other things on the show with the CM Punk thing, and they booked it the way they did because of that?
I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, if you had a main event that was like Samoa Joe versus, let's say, like Okada or something, I don't think they're doing the Punk thing on that show because it would definitely overshadow. But not a slight to Dustin Rhodes and not a detriment to him at all. But if you have a Samoa Joe and Dustin Rhodes and you're going to do something like that, that's definitely the show to do it on.
Understood. I agree. And then,
But I love Dustin. Love him. So I just want to get that out there.
Absolutely. And like you said, he stepped up to the plate when it mattered.
Well, I guess if that's all, then we can get right into our jobber of the night.
Cristiano Argento.
All right, the actual jobber tonight.
Hey, he got to take on Okada.
I'll go first. I guess I go second. I'll go second. The jobber of the night is me for not being Mariah May. Damn, man. Damn, man. Mariah May got to kiss the queen today, man. I'm sitting home not kissing the queen. I'm kissing my queen, which is just as significant, just as important, and even more beautiful. But I would like to kiss the queen, Mina, too. I am excited for New Japan on Friday. Scapegoat Jungle Boy. I'd like for the Bucks to come and get their boy already. I'm not gonna lie, man. I really want Jungle Boy to be with the Bucks. You don't even have to fully reference the CM Punk thing anymore. Like, I just want them together. I think
Jungle Boy interferes at Dynasty, or
maybe the Bucks show up in New Japan. I would be fine with either one. I just need them back together.
Or both.
Yo, Toni says I spent most of the night watching another live stream than watching the show. You guys are good though. Hey man, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight, by the way, especially over on YouTube. You guys are awesome. I had fun. I had a lot of fun tonight. But this is in case you didn't notice, we end every show with a jobber of the night and a megastar of the night. I chose myself. Mac, who'd you think was the jobber of the night?
The jobber of the night was Philip CM Punk Brooks. He looked like a fucking asshole for putting his hands on Jack Perry, no matter what Jack Perry said. You just don't put your hands on somebody at work, because if I was to put my hands on somebody at work after they said they came out of pocket saying something, I would be the one being fired for turning it physical. And I have no sympathy for him. But like I said, I like him. So fuck you, Punk. I love you, Punk. And I hope you're doing good / bad.
I agree. I also agree with William down here. I want AEW to focus on the hot shit they got going. Same. Jesus says the job of the night is Tony Khan for airing the video, I assume. And in part, I almost agree. If only because they waited so damn long and they made it look like they were bothered. And part of my... It's been a while. Caesar, job of the night, my friend.
Mine's not in the same vein, but it's Shibata. Honestly, he got left hanging, and they just started talking on the outside of the ring and left him by himself.
That was funny.
Jump by 3 dudes.
Pretty much.
That was actually funny. That was really fucked up. I was like, what are they even doing? But anyway.
Yeah, they left him by himself.
I think Shibata should be mad. I think he should Google translate really angry thoughts at all of them. That'd be really funny. Yo, his fucking comedic timing with that shit.
Oh, I like your necklace.
What's his deal? I'm like, fuck, this is great. This is great television. I need that Shibata gimmick on TV every week.
Jeez.
Shibata, what did you think? He has to type it in first. I fucking need this.
Like this.
Need it. Focus on Swerve being the first black AEW male champion. Yes, goddammit. Yes. And I think partly, like I said, this fucking thing was so small that I don't think it's going to overshadow the rest of the promotion moving forward. I think that it overshadowed a lot tonight, but I think a lot of it was booked to be overshadowed. There's a lot of nothing.
Oh, hey, we didn't mention who attacked Mercedes.
Oh shit! I forgot that happened. Yeah, it's fucking. It looks like Julia Hart, and but it's gonna be Willow. No, it's gonna be Chris. Pretty sure it's gonna be Chris Statlander. She had been kind of headed. He sucks. There's the fact that Chris had been kind of leaning towards turning heel, and the idea that she fucking couldn't figure it out. She couldn't figure out how to win, even with Stokely trying to help her. She was like, "Oh, why shouldn't I?" And then she loses. So Trent last week whispered something in her ear, probably let go of all that babyface bullshit.
I have to take a dump.
No,
It
did
was
you
so
hear?
good.
Did you hear the people enhanced it? Did you hear that? Did you hear that version?
No,
He
no,
said
because
something like, "Relax, I got this. I have a plan."
Ookie dookie spooky chooky.
I hope so. For a long time in pro wrestling, people just kind of sha in your fucking ear, and because they're on TV, and it's
After
like,
the stream's over, if I can find it, John, I'll send it to you. But he literally said, "Don't worry, I got this. I have a plan." So,
Oogie
Huh?
boogie.
well, I
Yeah,
hope he
Oogie Boogie.
does.
Yeah.
Seems interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interview Kristen Stokely did. Yeah, it was her, right? Yeah, Jesus knows it's up.
Yeah.
But that brings us to.
I said, "I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry. You smell like Burger King and Newports."
I'm sorry, Pookie.
Somebody let a baby into this all-out room, and it's fucking dangerous in here.
That's the mega star of the night.
The baby.
The baby. She's got goddamn. There she is, big ass head. Megastar tonight, man. I'm gonna get that to my boy, man. I was gonna say Jack Perry, for the sake of it, but no, I'm gonna give it to my boy Will Ospreay. Came out there, stood on fucking business, man. He came out there, he get that fucking promo, shitted on that big no banana nose motherfucker, and pulled the fuck out. He continued his hot ass promo by taking it back to the story, what he was out here to promote, tied it all in together. Will Ospreay's my megastar of the fucking night, and it looked like that might not even change for the next, I don't know how many weeks. That's the fucking ace of AEW, baby.
Oh, absolutely. Now this makes me think, guys, how many weeks have I said Will Ospreay was my GOAT for these AEW streams? It's been several in a row at least, but the streak is over because tonight I gotta say my megastar, and this isn't me memeing, this is me being legit. This is a guy that needs to be champion because, again, I mentioned it earlier, he's got a great look and he's great in the ring. I'm talking Penta.
Yes!
Ooh, let's go. I'm fucking down. Hell yeah. Why the fuck did it get so quiet? Did I put my shit out?
No. I don't know.
I have to keep muting
Penta.
He pulled out the picture of coughing.
He pulled out the picture of Penta, and we all just like.
He's that cool. You gotta stare and just be like, "That's my GOAT."
Agreed. Megastar
So
of the night.
I actually have 0.5 and 0.5, so I got to split it down the middle. Number one is Dustin Rhodes, because, like I said, he just fucking kills it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And number two is sexy ass Mina Shirakawa coming out here looking like a fucking
Shirakawa.
Yeah, Shirakawa. Yeah, looking like a. Oh man, I don't know. Like, woof, Jesus.
If there's one thing I want to say about Mina is that I don't like that's not my, like, I joke like that's the queen or whatever. She is, but for not just her looks, she is a genuinely great wrestler. It's partly why I'm such a big fan of her, because sometimes, when a really pretty girl gets in the ring, WWE conditioned me to believe it's a model. It's a like, my mind sees it like, just go to know how to wrestle, and it's a fucked up misogynist thing, like, that's wired into my brain that I fight against all the time. But Mina comes out here, she fucking wrestles, and the same thing goes for Mariah May. And look, they wrestle, but they look like Barbies. Tiffany Stratton, I think if she was in a different environment, and some of the NXT matches she had with Becky Lynch when they gave her a lot of time, a girl that looks, like a doll, like a Barbie, like an action figure, but she fucking wrestles. I think it's such a great thing to have across any promotion. Fuck yeah, Mina.
Oh,
I just want to make sure.
I appreciate this thing that was sent in by our friend Buster Cannon. Oh, if it will send. Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Penta and Wayne will teach you. Fucking great. Oh man, but yeah. I guess who else? Caesar.
Honestly, I gotta agree with Nick on this one.
Penta
and everything, yeah. I mean, it's Dead Triangle, but hey, man, Cero Miedo. So, straight up.
I'm fucking down. Hell yeah. Since I had an exact conversation with a coworker this week, there are great female wrestlers who just happen to be attractive. That's true. That's absolutely true. So, man, I'm
surprised one of you guys didn't take PAC for taking that fucking stiff chair shot.
That'd have made him the jobber of the night. He got fucking knocked, dude.
Yeah.
All right. So, a couple of things before we go. Yo, Dirt Sheet Radio, we got a website. So check us out. Go to the website. It's not all on social media anymore, baby. comicbookclick.com/Dirt Sheet Radio. Check it out, man. I put a lot of work in. So far, all the articles are by me. But we will have other contributors soon. So check us out and keep up to date on all your pro wrestling, entertainment, pop culture, comic book news. It's all up there. I do my fucking best. So if I miss something, it's just me right now. Fuck off.
Oh.
Anyway, that comes through our partnership with the Comic Book Click Facebook page. Comic Book Click and Dirt Sheet Radio exist together in harmony in a bed together. We are in a relationship, a partnership, a merger of lives. They are our pop culture outlet, and they put out shows like the Major Issue Show every single fucking Thursday. The Major Issue Show is where they cover all types of pop culture superhero content. Fucking, hit the notification bell on Major Issues. Hit that bell, hit that subscribe, hit that like on Dirt Sheet Radio, and let's continue to grow the damn brand. Guys, did you have anything to say before we got on out of here? I got my daughter about to kick this whole set down.
I don't know. Follow me on Instagram, Curbside Hero, and that's about it.
Baby feet. Boy. Don't you fucking perverts out there. This is a baby foot.
No. Camera accident.
Just kicks it.
Just kicks the whole thing.
The stream just went up 800 followers.
Shit. Stop it.
Hey, you know what?
Is it like Mario on a shroom? We are growing.
We are growing. I think all those 800 new followers need to go and check out monk.com and make sure they use promo code DSR10 if they want to get 10% off their personal aromatherapy diffusers. And while they're at it, hey, if you want something that you could be taking a usefulness with those, just go check out the Cold Case Project on YouTube. It's a channel that focuses on all kinds of disappearances, murders, and other cold cases. And my brother runs that. It's going to be great. There's a lot of binge-worthy content if you are a true crime fanatic. 30-minute videos to like 2-hour-long binge-worthy videos. So go check that out. I can't believe I made it through saying all of that without coughing. My time has come.
Woo! My time has come. Hey, man. Thank y'all. Hey, listen, Dirt Sheet Radio, we do reviews every single fucking day after every single fucking wrestling show. We have links in the we have links all up in our YouTube descriptions, our Facebook stuff. There's a link tree. There's actual links to all our other shit. It's all up there. Check us out. By the way, we do reviews every single day. We got a review after Monday Night Raw, review after Tuesday Night Dynamite, Tuesday Night NXT, Wednesday Night Dynamite, Thursday Night Impact, Friday Night SmackDown, Saturday and Sunday Night pay-per-views. We don't have a Collision show yet because I can't get two motherfuckers to sit down and watch Collision, and I need like at least 2 or 3. Yeah, man. Check us out. Yes, this furry thing on my chest is in fact a child. This is our first time, but yo, glad you found us too, Buster, man. I'm glad to have fun with everybody. This was a great show. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And we'll see you next week. We'll actually see you in the middle of the night, but that's what it's a secret.
Midnight Podcast.
Shut up.